sinned terribly in my past. God took away my son to punish me.
You are the father of a dangerous criminal.
But accusing my son of what he is not, that I cannot accept.
Get out of the fucking car now!
You don't have full control.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Halimah Thebird, and if you're visiting for the very first time, here we do everything movie reviews, movie conversations, and to my regulars, you guys already know I would do it here. So today guys, we're not going to be wasting time. We're going to be talking about The Black Book. It is a new Nigerian movie on Netflix, and it was directed and produced by Editi Effiong. This is kind of like his first feature film or his first big film. So yes, I'm going to be taking you through everything you should know about the movie. Should you watch it? Should you not? What to expect? And all of that, right? So the synopsis of the story, it is the story of a man who goes for justice for his son, basically. So his son was framed for a kidnapping, a high profile kidnapping. His son was killed, and then he takes justice into his own hands. He wants to fight a corrupt police gang and also the government in general. Basically, what he wanted initially was to just bury his son, right? And get his son's body, bury him, and clear his son's name. And then eventually he finds out that the people, who are in charge of the entire operation or who staged the entire thing, the people that he has a significant past with, and now he is going to try and expose them for who they truly are. It's an action film, and there's the John Wick style. The cast in this film, it was a very rich cast, I'm not gonna lie. We had a lot of old star actors. We had RMD, we had Sam Dede, we had Shaffy, Bello, Bimbo, Akintola, Taiwa Jaila, Issa, Alex Usifo, Pat Nebo, Ireti, Doyle, and we had some young faces like Ade Laoye, OLUMIDE OWORU. Those were like the two major young people in this film. Yes, okay, we also had some people that played like younger characters of the main characters in this film. RMD was the main actor in this film. He played Edima in the film. We had Ade Laoye. She played Vic. She was a reporter. Edima is the one whose son was killed. We had Sam Dede. He played Angel. Shaffy Bello played Big Daddy. She was she had her own gang of people, right? We had Bimbo Akintola, who played the professor. She was the one whose husband and child was kidnapped at the beginning, who they now framed Olumide Oworu for. We had Taiwa Jaila, I said. She played the chief editor of where Vic worked, the newspaper where Vic worked. We had Alex Usifo. He played General Issa. He was a general who had, organized different coups, done crazy things in the past. And then we had Ireti Doyle, who played the commissioner of police. So I'm going to take you guys through things I liked, and then we'll go into the things I didn't like about this film. So to the things I liked about this film, or the things that worked for me in this film, I'm gonna say first thing first, the cinematography was amazing. It was so good. I was like, oh my god, is this a Nigerian film? It was too good. The soundtrack too was very good. I think this was even my favorite thing, right? The soundtrack and the sound design, guys. I feel like a lot of Nigerian movies do not pay attention to these things, and these are like major things that we get in foreign movies, and it was really good in this film as well. I think the beginning, it was I liked the beginning when they were introducing us to, or well, not the beginning, but when they were introducing us to Olumide Oworu's character, and then Edima, which RMD, they played son and father, right? It was kind of story. I liked that. The color grading was also very good. The angles, the locations, when they were giving us the locations, like I loved it. I extremely loved it. Costume also worked really really well for me. I kind of liked Shaffy Bello's outfit, especially when they went to the north. I liked that she still maintained, they didn't come and give us this boss vibe film. She was still giving this rich Nigerian auntie kind of style. I also like the casting, the young and old cast. I think they had quite similarities, especially Paul Edima's character, that's RMD's character, and the person who played young RMD. It worked. They paid attention to a lot of details, like very tiny details. I think they paid attention to them. Another thing with catchphrases in this film, just one catchphrase actually that I really like was that Chichi share the granite. I think it was really good. It just it's the kind of catchphrase that you get to remember, right? I also liked the acting. Yes, the acting from people like RMD, Shaffy, Bello, Bimbo Akintola. I think Bimbo Akintola stood out for me the most, right? I liked the acting so much. Olumide Oworu, I mean, we didn't get to see him a lot of times, but I think that scene where he was fighting with the sax officer, it worked. I liked it. I also think I liked the fact that they were trying to put, now this is a very conflicting point, but I like the fact that they were trying to put in, a lot into the film. Like, there was the sax part, that's basically just the end sax part of it. There was the corruption, the government in entirety. There was revenge. Yeah, I kind of liked it at first, but then along the line I'll tell you why I didn't eventually like it, right? That things that I liked in this film, especially soundtrack and sound design. Those were like my favorite things, right? Now let us go to the things I didn't like about this film. So for the things I didn't like about this film, I'm going to start with the story. So maybe I expected something different, or because of what I saw through marketing, I felt like I was getting a revenge film, right? But they were trying so hard to not make it a revenge film when I feel like it would have worked better as a revenge film. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me explain, right? So they killed your son. Paul Edima is a deacon who they just killed his son. He used to be an assassin, right? But now he's changed, and now they kill your son. Now you have conflicting interest. Should you go back to church, or should you go and revenge for your son? Now you decide to now revenge your son's death. But instead of actually revenging your son's death, you are now going after, you know, you're not even going to have justice for your sons. They just decide to expose the people that were behind it. I don't know if that. I just felt like you didn't really get to clear your son's name. You were just after something else eventually. So that didn't work for me. So I would have loved it if he was just, going after, maybe the commissioner of police, the head of SACS, those like specific people who contributed or who could have, you know, done something right about your son's death, or why they killed your son, wrongfully, right? So I didn't like that for one. Another thing I would say is that the emotions in this movie were kind of disconnected. Like, I didn't feel pity or sad, or you know for many of the actions that happen. Now, for Olumide's death, that's Damilola Edima's death, I actually felt it because, I mean, we've seen this kind of things play out plenty of times in real life, right? Every Nigerian, every male Nigerian, every young Nigerian can relate to this thing. They've probably witnessed a SAS officer, harassing an innocent citizen, or they've heard stories of it. And there was the whole SAS protest, so we know this story, we've heard it, and I think they were trying not to make it a very bland story that we've seen before. That's why they wanted to add the whole essence of the government, the corrupt police, and all of that. Another thing I liked actually was that they didn't try to absolve the police of their fault, right? Okay, I should have said that before, but yeah, I liked that. So back to things I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that Ade Laoye's character, that's the journalist, was he was bland for me. And they didn't explore our entire character. I feel like they could have given her more, but they limited her a lot, and she just felt like a pointless character. And to think that she's supposed to be an important part of the story, she didn't feel important to me. I think that's the point I'm trying to get across. She didn't feel important to me. Her dialogues were very lazy, they were bland, they were short, they didn't have so much essence, and I don't know, her character just felt very convenient, just dipping her in and adding her to the story and making it look like, Paul Edima even knew her. Everything just felt very convenient, like way too convenient, and I would have loved it, right? Another thing I would say is that I think the coincidences were also very convenient. Killing Olumide, then turning out to be, Paul Edima's son, Victoria's character, Victoria's involvement and her interest in the case. I feel like they were very convenient scenes, but I think that could be excused, Sha. The lines generally, dialogue in this movie were very lazy. I actually thought initially that, the black book was like a literal black book, right? Where, after they've killed his son, he would now write down names of people that had killed his son, and they would start going after them. So like their names are in a black book. Do you get where I'm coming from? But yeah, they now made it like there was now an actual black book. But like I feel like RMD's character himself was even the black book, because he could literally list out everything that he knew about these people. So I don't know what changes if there were records of it that he wrote down with his hand. I don't know. Anyway, that's just what I felt. Um I also felt like the story was scattered everywhere. There was the revenge part of it. There was introduction of Big Daddy and whoever she was. There was the general. There was Angel. There was Dickpo. There were a lot of dates. There was a lot of things. Like if this movie was a cinema film, you would legit forget what you saw in the last scene before the next scene. So that was just tiring for me to watch, right? So another thing I would say is like character development. I think character development was quite weak. So Paul Edima was supposed to be a deacon, or he is a deacon, but we barely got to feel like that there was a struggle between his religious stance and then his past, right? When he decided to now go with his past. Apart from that scene where they show him in front of the church, where that scene is supposed to be like a very significant scene in the film. He's standing in front of the church, is about to make a very serious decision if he should go with the church or fight for his son, right? I think we didn't get to feel that emotion. Like I said, they kept telling us instead of asking it. I mean, you told us RMD is a badass, he's an assassin, he's dangerous, and all of that. But we barely even get to see him fight. Like, how many scenes did he get to show us his skills? What really made him a badass apart from, working as a boy toy for the general, right? Like, I didn't see that badass that he kept talking about, right? Even Denola Grace character, I mean, that character was so hilarious for me. Like, I'm like, what? What is this? You told us that this person is the best, is the this, is the that, and then he was killed like a church rat. I was so angry at that. Um, I think they should have developed on that way better, right? Maybe giving us a face off between Denola's character and Paul Edima's character, or I don't know. I mean, I think they felt like it served this purpose. He served this purpose because was to just come and create more buzz and make Paul Edima the main suspect, or make him wanted by the police officer or the commissioner of police because they didn't have her in her pockets. But to be honest, it just fell flat for me. His character really, really just fell flat for me. I didn't feel his essence in the film. I felt like we could have done without him because I mean, the reason why they killed Kelechi Udegbe's character was to make Poledima a suspect, right? Or to make him a wanted criminal. And so, what was the Nola's character doing anyway? Another thing is, they said he was a wanted criminal, or they named him a wanted criminal. Ireti already did that, but we never really saw the police chasing him or going after him, putting a bounty on his head. Things that would feel realistic, right? We didn't see that happen, so it just made me ask myself again, like, are you people really saying that the police are not competent enough to do their job? Killing the deputy commissioner also, it fell flat. Like, why was his character even there in the first place? Why did they kill him? It was pointless. I feel like so many pointless people just died, right? They just wanted to have more killings as passion film, but it didn't serve its purpose. And lastly, I think that Editi Effiong had a lot to say in this film. When I talk about insights, when I talk about revenge, when I talk about politics, when I talk about corruption, when I talk about religious conflict. So like it was a lot, and he wanted it to be an action film. So that is a lot to say in, I don't know, 2 hours, right? And this movie was actually quite long, but I just felt like sometimes less is more. Like focus on one story and just give it your all, right? So yeah, those were the things I didn't like about this film. I think I said a lot already. But I think generally it wasn't actually a bad watch, right? Even though it could have been way better. I think they delivered on many things that a lot of Nigerian movies lack. Cinematography. I think Nigerian movies are actually doing better in cinematography now, but when it comes to sound design, soundtracks, they still lack. But this film delivered, and locations, oh my god, they really, really did well with locations. The story wasn't terrible, but it could have been better. That's just my opinion. And I mean, this is his first film. So for a first film, I think he did really, really well. He outdid himself. There are a lot of directors, producers that on their 20th film self, there are still a lot of things that we would complain about. But for a first time, producer director, I think this was really, really good. And this, it beats a lot of Nigerian movies, to be honest. It's one of Nigeria's probably top 20 this year or top 10 this year. So yeah, I think it's not a bad watch. For me, it's an average film. I would rate it a 5.5 over 10. Should you watch it? I think you should check it out, especially if you're the kind of person who craves sound or cinematography or just a different feel entirely, different location, good color grading. You'll definitely enjoy it. If you're going in for the story, you might get lost in between or you might get tired of it. I think for me, I didn't look forward to, like the next scene or next step of action. And I didn't feel for the protagonist as well. So that kind of made me naturally I like to feel something for, at least one character, the protagonist most likely. But I didn't feel for him. So it kind of made me just not so interested, right? But yeah, they tried. I think they really did a good job. Do I recommend? Yeah, like I said, if you're interested in some of these things, I think you should definitely check it out. And I think that's all I'm going to be saying on the Black Book. If you've not seen it, it's streaming on Netflix. Do check it out and let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you've seen the Black Book, I'm sure you have a thing or two to say. Do you agree with my opinions? Do you not? Do you have negative opinions to say? Negating opinions rather. Please let me know in the comment section. If you have so much more that I didn't mention, please let me also know in the comment section. And I would see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.